August 9, 2020, the day that shattered my life, a date that is inscribed in the depths of my soul. The man who I was looking up to in each aspect of my life was gone forever.
Hi guys, I hope you're all doing great and being happy. So I just wanted to give you a small just about the information of what all I have gone through in the last couple of months or 2.5 months to be precise. And I wanted to make this video since long. Just bear with me guys, this video might be a bit longer. I have my chuddy buddy, his name is Madhav, he owns his studio. This is the studio that I am right now. Keeping that aside, I just will dive into the topic right away. We are a family of 3 members: mom, dad, and me. That's it. My father was having this diabetes since almost 24 years. He was having ultimate control on his health. 2014 onwards, one doctor suggested my father to take this tablet called Depran 5 mg because my father never used to get enough sleep during the nights. The doctor specifically told him, saying that to take the tablet only when he doesn't get sleep. But what my father did was he used to take the tablet on a regular basis. It went on, so there was no problems whatsoever. He always used to go to this KBR park for walks in the mornings as well. His health was gold. I mean, even I used to take inspiration from him, saying that my health should be like my father. He got retired in the year 2007 and he never ate non-veg since then. He was always having vegetarian food. In 2018 his health started deteriorating a bit. He always used to have a jawar roti for dinner, and for lunch he used to have brown rice, and he used to take some insulin. Sugar patient, diabetes patient, right? From mid of 2018 onwards, he was unable to chew the jawar roti. So from the end of 2018, he used to have this khichdi. I think the tablet that he was taking, the Depran 5 mg, affected him then after like 5.5 years. In November onwards, he started behaving like a retarded person. Whenever he used to sleep, he always used to scream. We were like, fine, that is not going to affect cost us a lot. We have a family doctor and we consulted him. The doctor told that this is nothing to worry, and he gave some good medication and we followed that, and it was going on smooth. Coming to 2020 guys, his health was being good, but from the beginning of July his health deteriorated a lot. So we thought that anyways, he is 73 years, so it's our responsibility to take care of him. So we used to treat him like literally a baby. On July 9th of 2020, his health was completely down. He was hardly speaking any of his body parts, and he was unable to talk or communicate like he used to do like before. We were a bit skeptical regarding his health condition. So on July 10th, whatever he used to eat, like idli or curd rice or dal rice or khichdi, whatever he used to vomit within the next 20 minutes. We consulted one doctor. He was like, nothing to worry. So we were like, fine, nothing should happen to my father. So that is what we were thinking. July of 11th, his health was completely down just within one day. He was unable to move, he was unable to talk. He was literally like a brain dead person in the house. We were really scared. I'm getting confused with the dates, but it was a Sunday. His stomach, it was bulged out, and that's it guys. I was really scared, me and my mother, and we immediately called up the ambulance, and our family doctors were not available on that particular date, unfortunately. Just imagine this guys, this is a peak time of the lockdown, and when an ambulance comes to your house, everybody thinks that it's usko covid ho gaya. There comes up a person with all the safety measures, gloves, etc. He just saw my father. He came to a conclusion, sir, ye suspected covid case ho sakta hai. We were like, fine, but at least try to get him in the ambulance so that we can put him in the hospital. So he was like, you don't go to the covid cases, there are other people who deal with this. And we're like, bro, please be sensible. Later on I understood their protocol and he just left. We called another ambulance guy, and we took him to the private hospital, care hospital, Banjara Hills. So once we took him to the care hospital in an Omni ambulance. Fine, I'll also tell about the ambulance things at the last after this thing. So I was with my father, and all the neighbors were really scared. They just saw my father and they were like, sir, हम basic medication ही दे सकते हैं, इनके बाद उसको फिर hospital बदलना पड़ेगा. So I was like, do that, and later on I assure you that we will leave. So based on that word, they took him into the hospital at around 11:30 a.m. Basic medication was done at around 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they were asking us to leave immediately after paying the bill. I mean, I was giving some lame reasons to them. हम और एक ambulance को call कर रहे, and we were there till 4 p.m. And my father, since the previous day, he did not eat anything. You know about the diabetes patients, right? If they do not eat anything on time, they behave like mental patients. Seriously, they just scream, and they don't even know what they're talking. But my father is like a senseless body over there, just like that. Somehow we had to pay the bill. The basic medication ke liye almost 38,000. I was like, fine, we cannot do anything. When I was in care hospital, I don't know how my number got to some random hospital. Don't want to take out the names, but they called me. Sir, we came to know that your father is suffering from COVID. He decided COVID. I was like, he's getting some basic treatment. Sir, he needs ICU treatment. So you need to deposit some amount initially, lakhs. Don't want to take out the amount as well because it is very huge. You can literally buy some premium bike per day. ICU ke liye it will be 1.6 lakh, and if ventilator is required it would be 2.1 lakh. And out of curiosity and sarcasm, I just asked him, okay sir, so how many days? So he was like, sir, easily he has to be in the hospital in this particular environment for around 16 to 17 days. Hey guys, this was the line. And if you are ready with this amount, let me know sir, give me a call, I will make sure that you get a bed right now. I was like, Dandal Sami, just cut the call. After the basic treatment, I requested and I pleaded the doctor, saying that, sir, please give him the necessary treatment. I'll just admit him in the hospital. They were like, sir, we are very sorry. We understand that. We don't have any ICU beds available right now. It took a lot of time, and at around 4:30, we left from that hospital and we went to Prime Hospital in Amirpet. They saw my father's condition and they were like, the same thing, this might be a suspected case of COVID, and admit him in the hospital because there are no ICU beds. And uske baad we came to Chest Hospital in Eragada. The time by then was around 5:30 p.m. From the previous day till the next day 5:30 p.m. there was no food. But in the basic treatment given by Care Hospital, there was saline. I don't know how much of quantity would that be, 1 liter or 500 ml. Chest Hospital people were like, sir, we can admit him. That particular equipment is not there to treat him. They gave some OP sheet and they've written in that saying that Osmania General Hospital, you have to admit him there. And I didn't know what to do, and so guys, I'm a part of a riding group, Royal Wanderlust. So I just wanted to show you this. This is the Royal Wanderlust team. I just showed you this because these people mean my life. Because when I was in Chest Hospital, I was helpless, completely helpless. I was broken down, and never I have known that I would love my father that much. But oh god. So I just called my group, one of my group heads. His name is Ravi Nair. I called him. I explained about this entire thing. I was weeping like a baby, man, and that boosted my morale. And we finally went to Osmania Hospital. During the journey, I was talking to my mother as well, but I was making sure that my mother doesn't get affected based on my mood right then. If I am dull, she will be dull. As I told you, we are a family of just 3 members. And now, I'll come to the ambulance. From my house, we reside close to Srinagar Colony. From there to Care Hospital, it costed around 6,000 rupees. From Care Hospital to Prime Hospital, 6,000. From Prime Hospital to Eragada Chest Hospital, which is hardly 5 minutes, 6,000. And once the ambulance driver came to know about the entire case, that my father has to be shifted to Osmania Hospital, right? So he took major advantage of that. He demanded 12,000. Me and my cousin brothers were there, so we had an argument with him. Finally, he has accepted for 8,000, and finally we reached Osmania Hospital at around 6:45 p.m. and there were no beds available. Just imagine how bad the situation would be. And the hospital is like a fish market. This is not to say something bad about the hospital, but there is no neatness whatsoever. We went into the emergency ward, the ground floor itself. Nursing, I guess. I mean, 6th year. What is it called? I'm not getting. House surgeon? Yeah, house surgeon. So he helped us a lot. He just immediately grasped the point. Sir, this is not a COVID. This is just a lack of sodium and potassium in his body. Oxygen cylinder has to be got by the patient itself. There are no oxygen cylinders available in Osmania Hospital. So you need to get your oxygen cylinder first, sir. Only then you will be given a bed in the first floor. That was the condition. And then immediately I called my Royal Wanderlust. Within half an hour, they have got the oxygen cylinder for me. Like, wow. I'm proud to say that, I have like friends who mean the life to me. So they immediately got the cylinder, and only then my father was shifted to the first floor. I have to leave my father along with my cousin, and I have to go to the first floor, search for, there are almost like, two floors above, and on each floor there are like 8 rooms, and on each room there would be around like 15 patients, and I need to search for a khali bed, and I need to come down, and I have to reserve the bed. Kaise reserve karna? There will be nothing. So I had to give some small amount of money to the compounder, and he went to the first floor. He searched for a khali bed. Then we went to the first floor. By the time we got a bed in Osmania Hospital, the time was around 9:30. The entire room was filled with 14 other patients. Two patient situation was absolutely worst. In the room that I was staying, out of the 15 patients, I have seen 7 people expire in front of my eyes. The doctor comes up at around 11 o'clock, and then he tells me that जल्दी से जल्दी 3% NaCl का saline का bottle लेना है. I asked my cousin to leave. I was alone with my father. I cannot leave my father because I don't know how his situation would be, right? Then I had to call one of my cousin, and then in the night at around 12:30 or 1 o'clock, he got that 3% NaCl solution. IV लगा दिया यहाँ पर. By morning at around 4 o'clock, he opened his eyes. I was very happy for that. They put 2 other 3% NaCl solutions, and by morning 10 o'clock, he was absolutely fine. He was able to not talk properly, but he was able to communicate like how a baby does. He used to smile whenever he used to see me. On July of 13th, they performed this COVID test. My father was given positive. I was unable to believe the fact that he was positive. Let me take you guys a day before right now. So we went to Osmania Hospital, right, on that late night. So there was one person who was next to our bed along with his wife. The person is affected with COVID, and guys, trust me, he was absolutely active, very active. He had no symptoms whatsoever. He was just having a mild cough, nothing more than that, and he was given positive. Guys, I take up a COVID test in Osmania, or anybody takes a COVID test in Osmania, they will be given positive. Just giving positive so that they can rub off their shoulders and throw that entire burden onto the Gandhi Hospital. The rule in Osmania Hospital is that if you are tested positive, you will be taken to Gandhi Hospital. And the situation in Gandhi, a patient who is tested positive is only allowed into the Gandhi Hospital, but whoever takes care of that particular person, like the attendees, like me, is not allowed into the hospital. So this person who was next to our bed, he was tested positive, and by the next morning he went to Gandhi Hospital. I took his number and I was calling him, and he was explaining me the entire stuff of what all is happening in Gandhi Hospital. And then a few of my relatives and everybody was like, Sai, we all know that your father would be taken to Gandhi right now, so please call your mom and make her to see your father for one last time. I was like, whoa. My heart was like, I don't know, man, how did I survive all this? So finally, my mother, she came to the hospital. My mother was unable to see my father like that. When my mother came to Osmania Hospital, that morning itself, there were 3 people who expired. And then I asked my mom to leave the hospital within the next 10 minutes. And then I had to book an ambulance and go to the Gandhi, right? From 10 o'clock onwards, I was trying for an ambulance. There are actually ambulances available in the Osmania Hospital itself, right? There were not even one ambulance was available that day. And also, I was calling the private ambulances. Private ambulances, though, they are not responding to any of the calls, and it went on till 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 p.m. I was not getting any ambulance. We were in the first floor. I had to leave my father alone, and I had to come down to the admin and talk to the officer who is in charge of the ambulance transportation, asking him to, pleading him to, or begging him to provide an ambulance. 2-3 times I had to go up and down, and for the third time he then gave me the proper reason. All the ambulances right now are in Gandhi Hospital. I asked him what was the reason. He told me many people are being sent back from Gandhi Hospital because the doctors are saying that just for small symptoms you are getting admitted into the hospital. What about the other people who are actually suffering? Understood this logic, right? So people who are getting admitted in Osmania, everybody is getting positive. So they're all thrown into Gandhi. And what are Gandhi people doing? They're filtering and sending them back home. On that particular day, all the ambulances were in Gandhi. And in between at around 9:30, private ambulance guy, I called him. Should I tell this figure to you guys? Let me tell you this. So this ambulance guy, I don't even know which service is that. He didn't tell me that. Anyway, I told him that मेरे पापा इधर है तो गांधी हॉस्पिटल को ले जाना है तो एडमिट करना है. तो he was like, sir, गांधी हॉस्पिटल मतलब he is positive patient. Positive आया तो हमको 60,000 देना पड़ेगा और उसके ऊपर ड्राइवर को भी आपको देखना पड़ेगा. द एंटायर अमाउंट केम अप टू 70,000 फॉर एन एम्बुलेंस फ्रॉम ओस्मानिया टू गांधी हॉस्पिटल, which is hardly around 6 kilometers. So this is how the ambulances are working out right now. Back then, at least. Particular night at around almost 11 o'clock, I went down. I was crying. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have food from the last 2 days. To an auto guy, a sharing auto. I was like, "Anna, నీకు దండం పెడతా, ప్లీజ్ అన్న, మా ఫాదర్కి ఇలా ఉంది, కొంచెం గాంధీలో దింపాలన్న." He was like, "अन्ना, मैं समझ सकता हूँ आपके सिचुएशन को. अन्ना, डोंट माइंड. Please give me 1,500 rupees and please buy a BP kit. I will drop you guys there." I was like, "Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bhaiya." I felt like falling on his feet. In the auto, guys, at around 11:45, me, my father, and the auto driver wearing PP kits going to Gandhi Hospital, and it was smashing rain. During that journey, Shriman calls me and he was like, "Sai, Emendra, I heard your voice message. Em avsaram unna sare cheppra, I will come. What did I even do to deserve such a person in my life? Who am I and who is he?" He is giving that much of importance and value. I felt really blessed. He immediately remembered the baby. So I was like, "Anna, baby is there. Please don't come to me." So that is what I told him. We were given a paper, would be actually given to an ambulance driver, and the ambulance driver gives it to the police, stays as a security in front of the Gandhi. So that is his duty to give. So there are no ambulances available, so that paper was given to me. So I had to take him in an auto. So I was hugging him. I was tightly hugging him. He was sweating a lot because the PP kits, man, it's like a fuming volcano. Right on the road itself, entrance of the Gandhi, there were police people who are standing on the road, and I showed him the letter. Then the then the police official thought that me and my father were patients who were going to admit into Gandhi. So he let us in, and man, that hospital looked weird, scary, Bhoot Bangla. As soon as we entered the hospital, we could spot 3 huge buildings, each block having at least 15 plus floors, and all the floors were filled with COVID positive patients. And as soon as we entered the auto and stopped in front of the main building, I could spot 4 dead bodies coming out of Gandhi Hospital, and they were kept in the ambulance. Oh my god, that was like, I could hear my heartbeat. We went into the hospital, and the auto driver, దేవుడు రా నాయనా, నువ్వు ఎక్కడున్నా కూడా చల్లగా ఉండాలి నువ్వు 100 సంవత్సరాలు. There were no ward boys, and yeah, the ward boys were not available on that particular day because some strike was happening. By just pushing, I was in the PP kit, and I was, oh man, I was completely down. I was completely down. And I went to the 3rd floor. I could spot some doctors and house surgeons, and they were like, "You have to keep him there." I was about to come back, and my mom called saying that, "Babu, you admitted him. We don't know what will happen. Please come back." And I was also ready to come back. Oh man, I was really ready to come back home. The time was almost like 12:40 a.m. I just saw back into the room, and I saw my father. He opened his eyes. He was not knowing what he was doing. He was just raising his hands into the air, doing some things, and there was an IV onto this hand, and he was trying to remove that. He was screaming, "Babu, Babu, Babu." He was screaming a lot, and seeing that scenario, I just stopped, and I decided then that I should not go back home. I should be with my father no matter what. We left a small luggage, I mean my father's clothes, accidentally left them at the entrance in the ground floor itself. So I came down somehow to collect them and go back again to the 3rd floor. And by then I told my mom that, "Amma, I'm coming back home." And I decided like this. The police people stopped me. There were around 40 people, and I was like, okay, now valla inkem gaadu. And I came back, and I was requesting these official. I don't know whether to say this point or not. At some point of time, they are being very polite, and at some point of time, they were very rude. So I was like, "Sir, I have to go up, sir. Please, sir. My father is admitted. He's 74 years, sir. He's brain faded, sir. Please allow me to go." The police officials were like, "Let him die. Who cares? There are many people who are dying on a regular basis. You're not so special. And don't you know that nobody is allowed to go and take care of the particular patient? You're not any special person, so just get lost from here." I started crying in front of them, and then seeing this all hangama happening, the DGP comes out, and he was like, ఏందయ్యా నీ కథ ఏంది, ఇంత పరిశాన్ ఎందుకు చేస్తున్నావు మమ్మల్ని, ఈడికెళ్ళి దొబ్బే అంటాడు. సో లైక్ సార్ ప్లీజ్ allow me to go Uber sir. And also my stupidity is that I also told them, sir, I'll change the diaper and come down within 10 minutes, at least please send one of your officials with me. If that was done, everything would be a flop. He trusted me or whatever, and then he was like, okay, come down within 10 minutes, all our 40 people will be down here. I was like, thank you. July 13th midnight, I went into Gandhi Hospital to the third floor along with all the luggage, and I did not come down for the next 11 days. The next 11 days I was with my father looking after him, and if I would have left him on that date, he would have for sure expired on the very same night. So I was very much tired and I slept on the bed next to him, and the entire room was empty, was very dark. At 1:30 I called my mom saying that, sorry Amma, I'm unable to come. Slept on the bed next to him, and I woke up after 1.5 hours, and to my surprise I did not see my father on the bed. He was on the ground, he was bleeding. He was unable to even tell that to me. He was bleeding, there was a cut here. Never imagined to see my father in such helpless situation. Took him onto the bed, connected that IV properly, and there were no doctors, no ward boys. Every morning at 11 a.m. the doctors come. So I was in this PPE kit, and there were some other patients who joined, who got admitted, joined, and so they got admitted into that particular room. Whenever doctor used to come, I used to go and hide inside the bathroom. All the patients used to support me. Yeah, I told you that I was in the PPE kits, right? So I think I'll attach some pictures of how I was in this PPE kit in the hospitals. Oh my god, that is some other killer experience that I have faced. So I had to give some amount to the particular person who supplies the food, and he used to give me. There were doctors who were coming every day in the morning at 11 a.m. They just used to give some injections, and they used to see the saturation levels, and they just used to go. That's it, and nothing else. And the ward boys and the ward women, their help was very minimal. They do not take care of the patients like how we do. I was in the hospital for 12 days, right? So I took bath only once in those 12 days, and it was very irritating. The nurses or whoever used to come to give injections to my father, they also became sort of friends to me, and they taught me how to attach the lines and the IVs and take that IV, and the time interval between each drop of the saline. Each and every minute I had to be with my father, and I took care of him. Felt really satisfied that I was with my father during those days. But you know what, guys? He was unable to talk properly, but somehow he could sense that, na babu naku anta naku chestunadu. He was noting that. I could understand. In that particular room, there were almost like 2-3 people who expired. They keep the food over there, and nobody comes to even tell to take the food to support the patient when eating. The patient who eats survives, and the patient who doesn't eat, the food packets will be there next to the patient, and the patient would be a dead body. There was one scary experience when I was talking to my mother in the night. There was a patient right in front of my father's bed. I was looking at him, and suddenly he stops breathing, and he expired. And we were with that dead body literally for almost 5 hours. So they took the dead body after 5 hours. So we were living with a dead body in the room. My father's skin is very rough and is actually very old, right? So there was a lot of dehydration. Nerves were not that clearly seen. There was a lot of problem giving the IV injection. Once they find a nerve, my father, as his brain was not functioning properly, he used to move around, and he used to try to remove this. And what we did was, generally this happens in the hospitals with the patients who behave like this. So what they do is they tie the hands with the bandage to the bed. You know that, right? So that he doesn't bend. So the hand will be like this rather than, just bending. If he bends like this, it is gone. Even if he moves like this, the entire IV would be out. So I have to make sure that his hand shouldn't have any movement. Every day I used to make him drink that ORSL apple drink. So that is the only thing that he used to drink, along with the saline that was going into the body. You have to take off all that cardboard piece so that the elbow doesn't bend. I have to take that entire setup, remove that IV, make him drink, and again sleep, and make him sleep, and change the diaper, and all this process. I have to talk about this particular person who was the superintendent of Gandhi Hospital. His name is Mr. Raja Rao. Oh my god, అక్కడ ఆటో డ్రైవర్ దేవుడు అయితే రాజారావు సార్ వాజ్ a living god. He was like, he observed me. So he came up to me. I was shit scared. Doctor, obviously superintendent of entire Gandhi Hospital. So he came up to me and he was like, Hero, I am observing you from almost 5-6 days. it is very good that you're doing a great help to your father. This is a ultimate service that will come back to you in multitude number of ways. Many people are expiring not because of the disease, but lack of the person present next to them. ఆ ధైర్యం కోల్పోతున్నారు, అందుకే చనిపోతున్నారు మనుషులు. సో దిస్ ఈస్ వాట్ హీ టోల్డ్ మీ, అండ్ హీ వాజ్ లైక్, యూఆర్ డూయింగ్ అన్ ఎక్సలెంట్ జాబ్, ప్లీజ్ స్టే హియర్ అండ్ డోంట్ వరీ అబౌట్ ఎనీథింగ్, ఐ విల్ టేక్ కేర్ ఆఫ్ దిస్. ఐ వాజ్ లైక్ into the orbit. I was very happy. I felt really blessed. 10th day, I guess, of me being at Gandhi Hospital. There came up two police officials at around 1 a.m. in the night, and they came up to me and they were like, "Hey, itra." I went out. I was really scared, and they were like, "Enduku vachinavu ikkadiki? Who are you? Who asked you to come? How could you even enter the hospital? Are you mad or what? There are no attendees in the hospital at all to take care of the patients, and who are you to come here? Evaru pampicharu nenu? Whose permission did you take to come here?" I did not know what to do, whose name to raise and all. So I just told, ఏదైతే అవని, whatever it might happen, I just told Rajarao sir. And without any further questioning, they just told, "Okay, fine, you should have told us earlier," and they just left. I was really scared that particular night when the police officials come. How scary that would be. So the next day was a Sunday, and every day check the saturation levels, and if the SpO2 level is more than 94, he's fine. My father's saturation level was above 90, and he never used to wear the oxygen mask, in the sense that if the person is suffering from COVID, or at least the thing that I have seen few people expiring in Osmania and Gandhi, right? All those people expired because they were having breathing issues, and my father here doesn't have any of such kind. There was just that electrolyte dysfunction, like sodium potassium malfunctioning. The Rajarao sir, right, every day he comes on the rounds, he pats on the person's shoulders saying that నీకేం కాదు, don't worry, everything will be fine. అలా ఉండాలి అయ్యా డాక్టర్స్ అంటే. Sunday afternoon 1 o'clock, out of nowhere he comes, he sees for the saturation level, it is absolutely fine. My father is without the oxygen mask, and he was like, "Sai, since how long he was like this without the oxygen mask?" I was like, "Sir, since the beginning." So he was like, "What are you still waiting for? He is completely fine, please take him back home, because after 2 more days there are a lot of other cases going to come to the hospital, and I don't want your father to get vulnerable to those situations, so take him back home." There are other doctors coming behind him, and then he ordered them to give us a discharge report. And those people, and I thanked Rajarao sir a lot. The doctors who have to give me a discharge summary, they did not give any discharge summary to me, and they just gave me a LAMA summary, that is like leave against medical advice. I had to call my doctor, family relative doctor, my relatives, my mom, and telling them that, this is all happening, I am coming back home today. We called for an ambulance. This time the ambulance cost was less. We were coming from Gandhi to home, so the rate was a bit less. People from Gandhi during this situation, like my father's situation, they will directly go into the graveyard, but it's a great achievement that I got my father back home. That was boosting up me like crazy. So we got into the ambulance, and then I held my father's hand, and he was looking at me and he was giving me a smile, and we finally got him home. Mom was really happy, I was happy, and every day my mom was being alone. Yeah, nobody was trying to come close, because there were a lot of rumors going around. When I was in the hospital, my mom used to tell me that there are a lot of rumors going around in the colony saying that auntie in the sense, my mom has got corona, me, I have got corona, and my father has got corona. People might get doubts on me, because obviously I was in between thousands of people who were positive. So yeah, that rumor works, or at least in my case. We already set up a ICU bed in one of the room, and we got him home, guys. We got him home, and that was like a great achievement. Just imagine, I was flashing out all the memories, that if I would have left him on the very same day when we joined him in Gandhi Hospital, he would have expired. And I have also got a great opportunity when I was in Osmania. The day when I was about to take him to the Gandhi Hospital in an ambulance, I was not getting any ambulance, right? So the doctors in Osmania, they suggested me one thing, that at least take your father in your own car. I have my car right now at Osmania Hospital. So I thought that instead of taking him to Gandhi Hospital, what if I take him back home and take care of him? So that was how my mind worked. The doctor suggested to offer him all liquidized food, mutton bone soup, ORSL apple drink, Mosambie juice, whatever, liquidized food. He was doing great. He was doing absolutely great. He was slowly recovering as well. Once I came back from Gandhi, I had to go to Vijay Diagnostic Center in Gachibowli to get myself tested, and my result came out to be negative, and even my mother, her result was also negative. So on August 3rd night, we made him drink the milk, and he slept. On August 4th morning at around 5:30, we could hear some crazy sounds like, if you cut off the head of a hen, how does it scream? Me and my mother, we were really shit scared, and my father emptied the entire thing, and the pillow was completely turned red, and we thought that it was blood. So I cut off those bandages which were tied. We called up a relative friend, doctor, and she was like, Sai, make him turn to the side and rub the Vicks vapor rub so that he vomits whatever is inside, whatever is stuck. So we did that, and he struggled a lot till 10 a.m. And then we called our Akka, and then she was like, Sai, I thought that he would expire in the next 2 hours. And I was like, okay, I did not know what to do, guys. So the graph was completely like going upper from July 25th, and on 4th of August it was totally down, entire thing. పడ్డ కష్టం అంతా నాశనం అయింది. And at 10 o'clock he stopped that sound, and he was being a bit okay, no sounds, that's all. And we called up a neurosurgeon, WhatsApp call, video call, and saw the situation of my father, and then he was like, nothing to worry, there is no need to get him hospitalized, just make him drink these 2 syrups, mucolite, I remember that, mucolite, and one more thing. His food intake was enormous. It was amazing from July of 24th till August of 3rd. From this point, his food intake came out to be absolutely zero. You know this 5 ml small plastic caps on the cough syrups, right? So we used to feed him with that. Only 50 to 100 ml of food. That's all, nothing more than that. So the reason for this was, whatever he vomited, it entirely went through the nostrils into the lungs. That was absolute disaster. So that was an aspiration. Then started phlegm formation. We were not even in a position, or not even in a situation, to shift him back to the hospital, because I'll tell you the reason. The doctors whom we have called, our family doctor and also the neurosurgeon, what they have told was, he has surpassed that brutal phase of that aspiration. If a person surpasses that scary phase, it just takes few more weeks to get back to normal. So that was the assurance we got, and so we followed that. August 7th, 8th, he was fine. On August 8th night, I took his BP, blood pressure readings and sugar readings, and they were absolutely fine, and made him sleep. And then the entire night he was oozing out the phlegm into his mouth. If we make him sleep to one side, he always used to be on that side. So he used to sleep to the left, so to some side. So I used to open his mouth like this, and I used to put the tissue paper and take out all that phlegm from his mouth. So that night I did not have any proper sleep. After a rough sleep of around half an hour to 1 hour, I woke up, looked for his sugar levels. He was good. I gave him some insulin. I made him drink some ORSL apple drink, 50 ml. And after that, around 9 o'clock, I examined his BP level, and to my surprise, the BP level was completely down, 90 by 42. No person would survive. Immediately went for his pulse level. 11 or 12 seconds, I could hear only one heartbeat. That's all. Searched for that oxygen cylinder, and when I was about to put that oxygen mask to him, he was not having any energy, right? He was unable to move. He was unable to do anything. He was unable to talk. He was unable to even open his eyes. That sort of a person, without zero strength from the last 2.5 or 3 days, or from the point where he got this aspiration, he suddenly held my hand here. I still have the pain over here, this part, this, oh my god, still I have this pain. On August 9th morning, he held my hand like this. He opened his eyes wide. He looked straight into my eyes. He gave a huge smile. He took his last breath, and he expired in my hands.
Nana, I will take up your advice, and I will keep chasing my dream and be satisfied with whatever I have. One thing that I have learnt in this life is that we don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive. Because what the world needs the most is more people who come alive.
But Baita situation is completely different. Whatever is shown in media is in a complete opposite way of whatever I have seen and I have experienced. So guys, I just kindly request you to not just watch this video, but to share this video to a lot and lot of people so that it reaches out to a larger crowd of masses.
It took death for me to truly embrace life. What will it take you?